moving.
Where the hell is the car farm at?
Hey, buddy.
Let's go take a look.
How are we doing?
Hey, Richard Holden here. I'm at the car farm. Everybody tell us your name.
Yo, I'm Ben, car farmer.
Yeah, Ben's in the house.
Brian, the car farmer.
Brian, we got a couple car farmers here, and I just came out of the car and I found my way here. It is awesome. It wasn't without a little adventure though. The Silverado is not running. It used to have a transmission. Now it has about 7 or 8 different kinds of neutrals, but don't worry, we can fix it. Right. But now we are walking around the car farm and I'm going to show you all the super cool Dodge stuff. We're going to take a look at T1 stuff, T2, T3, and T4. Are there any T5s?
Yeah, I think we have a T5 here.
Nice, we're gonna look at a T5 too, a super cool one. We're gonna walk around, I'm gonna show you versions of the T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, all the T's. All the T's in the house. Oh yeah, we're gonna go take a look at the broken, let's go take a look at the broken transmission.
This is the replacement.
Yeah. So that is not working. And this is gonna make it work. We did score this. Look at this. Somebody's selling this used. It's like a Summit rebuilt transmission. Has a Corvette servo in it. So it's going to shift like a Corvette, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if he said servo or summer.
Corvette summer. Look at that. Got a drain there.
Yeah, polished aluminum pan.
Dude, that's all fancy. That is like maybe way too fancy for my truck.
The fasteners.
Awesome.
I said fancy for those.
Oh yeah. Dude, this is cool. But I didn't come here to look at like truck stuff. We came here to look at Dodge T2, T1, T3, all the T's. Let's go check out a T1. Okay, look. Okay, look guys, everywhere. Look as far as the eye can see. Look up here. Craziness. All this is like Dodge Central. If you want if you're looking for any sort of T-based car, it's definitely here. But let's go and take a look. We're gonna stock T1 first. Look, here's a perfect example. This was more than likely a very good running T1. Now it's been taken apart. We're going to use it for parts. Awesomeness. Let's go check out inside. We're already putting together the motor for my personal Dodge Omni Blue, best color ever, GLH Turbo. That's an 85. We are going to swap an 87 T2 into it. But look, this is the beginning of excellence. There's motors galore. Oh, look at this. Whoa. All right, let's go check out a T1. But first, before we do that, oh, Brian just walks right in camera. Look at that. What's missing here? Exactly. That over there is going to go in right there. Got to stop by the paint booth. Yeah, what's up?
Pizza booth.
Yeah, oh, pizza, yeah. And Dunkin'. Uh-oh, we're going behind closed doors. Dude, this thing is so nice. Okay, so now we're going to talk T1. This is also
That's
cool.
A
look
T1
at that.
Car.
That's a T. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so for the people that don't speak like Dodge Turbo Omni L body like speak, what the heck does T1 mean?
T1 was all the Dodge Turbo stuff that was not intercooled.
Okay, so
So
all
it would
the
be-
non-intercooled stuff, right?
Right, so it lasted from 84 all the way through the 90s.
Man, this thing is super clean.
There are 3 caveats.
Okay, let's talk T1. What's going on with the T1 stuff? They're not all the same, right?
Not all
Right.
the same. You could 3 different versions, right?
Right.
So
The
this
early
would be,
one
Well,
would be
maybe there's 4 because you could say
Well,
there's an early
the
one.
84, which had the weird wastegate deal.
Yeah, that's the one that I got from the wrecking yard that I have that I'm going to put up on the dyno, right?
Mechanical wastegate, and you did not have a wastegate control, wastegate solenoid to
Okay.
control the boost. So it was literally just looped back.
And what else? Tell them what else is cool about those early T1s.
Is there anything cool about those?
The draw through, the draw through throttle body.
Yes, yes, of
Well, this
course.
is draw through also,
Yeah.
but it uses the vacuum wastegate
Yeah.
with the solenoid.
So it has boost control, basically. The computer's controlling the boost, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, the wastegate's over.
But the cool thing, like I said, is that draw through turbo. So the throttle body is actually in front of the turbo, which is very, very unusual. But they also had other T1 versions, right, where they changed that out.
Right, so in '88 they went to the T2, which is also when we got roller cams, right?
Yeah,
I
roller
need-
cams.
And you
Still
have to re-
T1 though, right?
Still T1.
T1. Okay, yeah, the later T1s.
But it had the newer style intake, so
Right
it was
there.
not
Like this,
it's
had,
like that.
had what they call a one-piece intake manifold.
Right, and the throttle body's pressurized.
Yeah, and the throttle body, we're now blowing through the throttle body rather than drawing through the throttle body, which is pretty cool. Two good things I like about that's a different manifold. The other one, and I'll show you a picture here, it's a log style manifold on these early T1 cars. And this intake manifold actually has runner length, much better choice, and probably makes more average power.
And then in '89 the T1 was 2.5.
2.5. Right.
So when you say all non-intercooled cars are T1s, that is true, but that doesn't mean
They're not all 2.2s.
Yeah.
They're 2.2s and 2.5.
Oh, that's right. So we had on the T1s, we had these draw-through ones, 2.2s. We had blow-through 2.2s, and then we had blow-through 2.5s. Right? Did we ever have a draw-through 2.5 on a T1?
not yet.
No, not yet. All right, cool. Let's go check out some T2s. So here is a very good example of the draw-through turbo. Sorry about the wind. You can see throttle body mounted upstream of the turbo. Very cool. Okay, this is very cool. So this is a Shelby GLHS intercooled. I'm really jealous of my GLHS.
You really want that sticker?
I do. Shelby Turbo, YouTube, Car Farm, Omnipotent.
Parts. Yep.
That's right. So let's just check out a T2 now, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah,
First-
pop the hood.
First version of the T2, 86.
So this is the first version that they came out with for the T2.
Yep. These are the first intercooled cars.
Cool. And then who did this car? I mean, who
Shelby.
did this? Shelby did,
Shelby.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And then there's something different about the 86 than the later ones, because when Shelby did this, didn't they use the same early bottom end?
The bottom
and
end
then-
is not forged.
Okay.
Like the Chrysler T2 stuff is all forged bottom end.
Okay.
The Shelby stuff in the 86 and 87s were cast.
So he like jumped the gun and
Jumped the
just
gun.
put all the top end stuff on, but left the bottom end
Yep.
the
Pulled
same.
the head off, changed the intake and exhaust manifold and turbocharger. And for engine mods, that was it.
Oh, cool.
So the bottom end is.
And they went from
not
like
heavy duty.
146 horsepower to 175 or something
Right.
like that. Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. This thing's clean, man.
And this is actually what you're aiming to do to your car.
Yes.
That's
So-
pretty much
when it
exactly.
leaves
Yeah.
here, it should look
So
like this.
yeah, so everybody that's watching now, I'm hoping that this is what my engine
compartment.
bay will look like when it's all done, and obviously run like too. Although this one runs. I've ridden in this one, so this one runs a little better probably than mine's going to. Mine is going to be all stock
More stock.
to start out with.
Right. That'll change.
Yeah. So there are a lot of different, or are there other cars that had this T2 motor in it?
A lot of other cars. So first was the 86 Omnis.
Okay, I just want to
87
show.
Charger.
Okay.
87 CSX.
Oh yeah.
87 Lancer, Shelby. Those are all Shelbys.
Okay.
Then also at that time, the 87 Daytonas came out
Okay.
with the T2 package.
Did the
Those had forged cranks. The 87 Daytonas had forged cranks. The 87 Shelby stuff had cast cranks.
Okay.
And it's confusing because
and
the
it's
Shelby Daytona was a Dodge car. Shelby didn't modify.
They just
that,
used
but
the name,
They
right?
used the name
Right.
because
Okay.
it was a Turbo Z renamed to
Yeah.
Shelby Z.
And the 87 Lancers were the first ones to have the intercooled drivetrain with automatic.
Oh, cool.
Which was kind of an oddball. There weren't many automatics made, but the T2 setup.
Now, did the LeBaron ever have a T2 in it?
Yeah, LeBaron GTS. The four-door LeBaron.
Oh, okay.
Four-door LeBaron, which looks like a Lancer,
Yeah.
that was a GTS, and that was intercooled.
Oh, cool.
And then the two-door LeBaron and LeBaron Coupe and convertibles, those were.
So even more confusing, you mentioned the Charger a minute ago. The Shelby Charger that everybody's familiar with, every time I tell them I have a Shelby GLHS, like, oh, it's a Shelby Charger. I had one of those with the stripe on it. It's not the same car.
Yeah, that's an early one they're talking about, right?
No, they
They
made
made
it
them both at the same time.
same time.
Oh,
the
okay.
Same time, but the last 1,000 of that body style in '87 were shipped to Whittier, where they got this package.
Okay, where they got
They
the
only
T2
came-
turbo
yeah,
upgrade.
exactly. And like this car, they came in only all black, and that was it. That was your choice. So
Okay.
yeah, so a Shelby Charger versus a Shelby GLHS Charger,
Not the same.
not the same car.
Is a regular Charger a T1 car then?
Yes, that's
Okay.
that was
That's
that
one of the
would be-
examples
that
of
would
the
be a
T1
different
car, right?
car.
Yeah. So
Very,
if,
very
the,
cool.
if the Charger was intercooled, then it's probably a GLHS or something modified.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to tell you how Dodge-ness there is here, this is common sense. It's a boat. So what motor's in this thing? Yeah, 340. And what's cool about it?
For one thing,
What's not cool about it is it runs backwards.
So it runs backwards. It's a reverse rotation marine motor.
so it only works with the manual trans.
Oh, that's right. You can only back up in it.
It's got 5 reverses though.
No,
No, the pump won't run.
it's got more neutrals in your car. Well, probably not than mine, right? It's got more reverses than mine does.
That's true.
Hey, too soon. Okay, under the cover of darkness, we're in the top secret shed here where they hide all the super cool T3 stuff. So tell me, what is the cool thing about the T3? I can see already it looks very different. And here's a little indication right there.
Double overhead cam. 16
Yeah. But it also has
Lotus.
the thing that I love.
Intercooler.
Intercooled turbo, yeah. And 16 valve.
Right.
So talk to me about a T3. What's going on there?
2.2 displacement.
Okay.
Lotus head.
Nice.
And
So that's a Lotus 4 valve head, right?
right.
Okay.
Yep, 224 horsepower-ish.
And that looks like
And
that's a
91.
cross flow head, right?
It's cross flow head.
Okay.
91 and 92 only, and it's got a coil pack,
Oh yeah.
no distributor,
No D-strip.
and sequential fuel injection instead of batch fire.
Nice. And the Spirit RT, if I'm not mistaken, was what back in 91?
Fastest sedan.
Fastest sedan. That's
Ever
right.
in the world.
Ever made, right?
Ever in the world. Ever in the world.
If
that
you
year.
ask any Spirit RT owner, they will tell you that.
Yeah.
Fastest sedan ever made.
Might be biased.
Oh, okay.
It's like a baby SRT4.
So did they have T3s and anything else?
T3, yes. Daytona IROC
In America.
in
In
America.
one other
Oh
car.
yeah, and then
Don't
the
forget-
Phantom RT in Mexico,
Yeah, which is a
Ooh.
which is
J5
cool.
with
So
a-
that is a LeBaron coupe.
Okay, but only in Mexico
Only in
though,
Mexico,
right? So why
'cause-
didn't we get the
well,
cool
the
like
rumor
Baron
is
coupe?
The T3 motors were made in Mexico.
Okay.
Cast.
So they said, hey, we got a bunch of extra T3 motors, so we're putting them in our
Putting in
stuff.
our own cars.
I don't blame them. I would do that too.
They're actually nice looking
That's a cool
cars.
car.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this car was the step up from the T2 that the T2 was from the T1, right? Even more so, really, because this is like a 50 horsepower gain or something, right?
Right. This is roughly 224 horsepower.
Nice. So up from 175, that's a big. You're going to notice
It's a
that.
jump.
That's a big
Yeah.
jump.
Yep.
So the 4-valve stuff, and did they run more boost in this than they did
run
in the?
less boost.
Oh, less. See, look at that.
Yeah,
More
9.
power and less boost, as I'm always telling you, the best way to go.
Yep. 9 pounds instead of 12.
So
in the T2.
did anybody continue just to run stock boost in their T3s?
No.
Hence why that one outside had a manual boost
Yeah,
controller.
manual boost
Right.
control. Yeah, very
Yeah,
cool.
Not hard to do.
All right, so we got over T1, T2, and T3. So let's finish off strong with the T4. And oddly enough, the T4 is probably not what you think.
And it's came
Before
out earlier than the T3.
So, are you confused? Because I know I am. Okay, we're finishing up with a T4 car. So what is very cool about the T4? What makes that one different?
Variable nozzle turbo.
Oh, let's
VNT,
see. Oh,
right
VNT,
there.
that's right.
VNT, there's
They
a
have the
decal
little
right
veins
there.
in the turbo, right?
Intercooled like Richard likes.
Nice.
VNT.
I know, I have intercooler envy.
And so this is, yep, it's intercooled.
Yep. So it
And-
looks a lot like a T2, except
does.
it has a VNT turbo, right?
Correct. Yep.
There's our intercooler, nice.
So they started in '89 in the CSX, and this is a '90 LeBaron convertible.
Okay. And also, what's cool
5.
about this? What were they able to get rid of when they introduced that VNT turbo?
Turbo lag.
Yeah,
they-
that's
and
one
they-
thing. And what's the other thing?
A wastegate.
Wastegate. That's right. So this
Turbo
has
lag-
no
turbo-
wastegate. They're controlling the boost basically with the pitch of the veins of the turbos, right?
Right, and it really does work.
Does it? So this thing spools up a lot. It's noticeable
they really
compared to
did-
the others.
Oh yeah, they really did eliminate the lag.
Oh, that's cool.
And how do they fail?
but it's too complicated, and the veins clog, and the
Yeah.
and the bearings. The turbo always spins pretty fast in this.
Okay.
So they do have turbo bearing problems.
So bearing like turbo
tur-
longevity, and they get gunked up and stop working is the VNT stuff.
And they're complicated to rebuild, but really the longevity is not there.
Okay. So really good idea, but just doesn't work out as well as promised, right?
Right.
But still kind of cool though.
It's very
Somebody
cool.
probably improved on it nowadays, I would assume.
Yeah, this was in the 90s, so. But that's cool. T4. Awesome. Okay, guys, we're heading back into the top secret area to talk about the final version. Well, it's actually probably a couple of more, but the last super cool version of the T1, T2, T3, and T4. And this is the Maserati version. So let's go find out what's cool about the Maserati version of the Dodge motor.
Put my back in that twisted jerk
All the manliness.
motion. I just don't want to mess up the wiring.
Gotta go sideways.
No, I just don't want to mess up the wiring.
It's coming out of this top secret area.
Oh boy. I'll blow it off.
Sweet. Let's see what it says.
500 of these made.
Does it? The quintessential wrecking yard strap. The
There's a good
seat belt.
Special Corvette tranny, right, in a weird case.
Is it a get drag or something? Oh.
Nope, it's something Corvette gears or something.
Oh, okay.
I actually did not know that.
It's an oddball tranny.
Chrysler
Yep.
by Maserati. And yeah, double overhead cam, 16 valve. So
It
let's,
was intercooled,
as all the best ones are, that is kind of a cool exhaust manifold.
right, and it's neat, and it's a small turbo.
Yeah. So super responsive.
Torque.
Had that completely different intake manifold, and like you guys could tell me. So this one, how is this one different than the T3 that we saw? That was the Lotus head.
Right, so the Maserati head had no cam followers.
Okay.
Like what we would call a rocker arm.
Yep.
Some people. So this is a lifter bucket engine. So the cam rides right over
Right over the valve.
with
Okay.
just a lifter bucket on top.
Nice.
So
And so does anybody know which one of the heads flows more? Does a Maserati head flow more than a T3?
if you ask a Maserati guy, they say
Yeah, I know what
Maserati.
they're gonna say,
Lotus
yeah.
guy says Lotus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
I would kind of think the Lotus head would flow more, maybe just because they were thinking more RPMs and stuff on the Lotus side. But that would be a really good.
Isn't the story that Lotus like way over-engineered their head
engine.
because they wanted to make lots and lots of power,
Right.
and then Chrysler said, "Hey,
No, we gotta
yeah,
dial
let's
it
dial
back."
that back a little
Right,
bit."
that's exactly right.
Okay.
But the Maserati motor, the Lotus motor is basically a Chrysler motor with a Lotus head.
Yeah.
Whereas the Maserati motor, they changed everything. The crank is totally different. It has more counterbalances. It's way heavier.
More
It's
than
a
the
hard-
standard one,
yep,
yeah.
Yep, it's more like the Neon SRT4 crank.
So why don't you let's see the rods, because
So the
aren't the rods
rods-
completely different, and the
Rods
piston?
are totally different, so you can see what they were thinking there.
Oh yeah.
So Spirit RT rod, which is basically standard Chrysler
Okay.
T2 stuff,
T2 stuff.
and
okay.
the Mazda rod. Let's look at the difference.
Oh yeah, that's a little bit different.
Yep. So
Is the Maserati rod heavier than the like a standard T2?
I haven't weighed
or
one.
anything?
We have to tear one apart and weigh it.
I think
Okay.
these are 6.
It's
99.
thin. It's pretty thin this way,
Yeah.
so it's hard to say.
It makes it look bent, but it's not.
It's
It's
not
just
thin.
Yeah, it's just a design. Let's see the crown of the piston.
Oh, and the
Let's see.
piston is a lot
Yeah,
different.
Look at that. So right away, we would assume that it's a 4-valve. It's got 4 valve reliefs.
Right.
And we were all talking today. We wondered if that because that they wanted it to be a non-interference motor, if the cam belt breaks, so that the piston never hits the valve. But if you look at that, you think that looks almost like a diesel piston. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Yep. It
low
sure is.
compress. It looks like low compression.
Yeah, it's
So then
got a
it makes
lot
it-
of dish, huh?
The head must have a really small
So
chamber.
let's take a look at a head chamber.
Let's go look at that.
Let's
Do we
go-
have that?
We
We have that.
Let's go check it out.
PC for sale. The first thing you do is you go to the VIN
Yeah.
and you look and see if the engine code's an R code.
Did
Or it
they
has-
only
Look at the
use that
outlet.
with the 5-speed?
Yes,
Okay.
only
Yeah.
5.
So you guys need to talk about that.
That's a unique turbo inlet on the Mazda.
Okay, so their exhaust manifold was
It's
completely
totally
different,
different.
not T3. It was something
Right.
that they did where
For them.
only that turbo was going to fit on there, right?
Yeah, it's really unique. Look how small the outlet is.
Oh yeah.
Inlet's pretty small.
Oh yeah, that's like tiny Volkswagen size.
So it's an IHIT.
IHI, yep.
Yeah, only one I think that they ever used.
But they did that.
So that's a Maserati. Is that a Maserati head right there?
That's a Maserati head. So you can see here what we mean by there's no followers.
Oh yeah.
Traditional followers. So look how
It
pointy.
rides right over
Look
the.
how pointy the lobes are.
Oh yeah.
And then
So it'd be interesting to see what the cam specs are for the
It's what-
Maserati engine versus the Lotus engine, right?
I think that's one duration.
yeah,
It just goes from all closed to all open.
there's the inlet ports.
Oh, it's a dual port
pretty-
deal, huh?
Yep. And the nice thing about this head is a lot smaller. More
Is the intake
much more
manifold? The
compact.
intake manifold is not a variable runner deal, right? Or
No, I
doesn't
don't
doesn't
think-
have an
no,
invert plate
no.
or divider? Okay.
No.
Oh yeah,
So
that
you-
is
so you can
that
see
is
that
really
there's
shallow.
Yeah. And these are already down.
Yeah, these are already proud. Look, they almost feel like they're proud of the deck surface of the head.
Right.
So that's why they have those big valve reliefs in there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I bet that's pretty small.
Yeah. Right, 'cause it actually is. Well,
Straight edge.
look at that
yeah.
straight edge.
Oh yeah.
It says open coat straight edge right on there. Yep, and then the
Gangster.
Do we know if they ever recast these, Brian, or if there were any like?
I
What
have no
if you had
idea.
a
Only
cat-
thing I heard that was unique about these was supposedly for a long time, if you had a problem with the engine under warranty, they didn't tear the engine apart. They just got one out of a box, put it in your car, and that was it. They didn't
So,
fix the
careful,
engine. The
'cause
dealerships did not fix the engines.
Now, you're
supposedly.
telling everybody that there's some crate engines.
Must be crate engines sitting everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
They're everywhere. There's crate, and there's probably engines and garbage dumpsters everywhere.
That's
Sweet.
true.
Okay, guys, we took a look at the T1, the T2, the T3, the T4, and the Maserati. But guess what? Now it's time to get to this thing with all of these motors you see. Here's one over here. So it's time to build the motor, hook it to the transmission, and get it in the car. That's coming up in the next video. I'm Richard Holder. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff. This thing's going to run. Maybe the truck will, too.